Oh, wow. Year number 7, as far as the actual function of it, is in the bag, waiting for scores to be returned. Terry, give us your overall view.
My overall view is I've done this now since the beginning. I don't know what the scores are, but to me, this is the tightest one they've ever had. As far as everybody is right there. I don't think anybody knows who the winner is right now, except for maybe Matt. But everybody did a good job. I think everybody knows what they did right and what they did wrong. But I had fun. I had fun watching it.
Fantastic. Ruben, give us your last sentence.
Well, I think they all three did very well. There's a lot of pressure, mental pressure on the last day. Time is shorter. It's a lot harder. But I want to say thank you for their incredible efforts, for doing an outstanding horsemanship job, showing everybody their horsemanship in the arena the last 3 days. They did a fantastic job. I thought all three of them so good. So congratulations to the winner, which I don't know yet, but good job to all three.
So you travel the country, you see a lot of different horses in a lot of different places. You also judged this last year. Compare this year's colts to last year's as a group.
Oh, that's a good one. I think they're probably a little better this year than they would have been last year. As far as when I say that their difficulty would have been a little easier this year, I feel like, than last year. But, you know, they were at the same spot about the same time. I feel like they all put a great effort in getting there. They done what they needed to get there. So.
All right, Jared, tell us how you think.
3 very different horses, 3 very different training techniques. They all did a wonderful job. No fall-offs all weekend. But if you haven't been to a colt starting, you need to come. Because if you're not learning by watching other people and these young horses, you've got your eyes closed.
That's really well said. I mean, I don't know how old Nate is, but I am old enough to be the other two's dad for sure, and I've been starting colts all of my life. And I sit here and watch them and learn because they're doing things different than I would do it. And sometimes I think it's not going to work, and it comes out and works really good. And you have to step back and go, wow, I had a prejudice against that for no reason. Mr. Westfall.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. It's always fun to watch the competitors to see how they choose horses that they think will fit their style of training and horsemanship, and to see how it comes along. Yeah.
So, as a judge, you asked me the other night how I felt about the score sheet on day 1. So, if you were going to add an element to a score sheet overall, what would you add?
That's a good question. Actually, I wrote it down while we were judging this week. I would put a category where the clinician's ability to adapt to the horse's needs. I would put that in there.
I like that. All right, Judge Archer, tell us what you think.
Well, it was obviously a great competition, and I think what we saw today was a progression, and we talked about that after day 1, is how colts progress, and when you get to the end, there's not as much difference as there was at the end of day 1, and I think we saw that. We also saw where a couple of competitors had to make some adjustments today because the horses just weren't where they thought they would be. And they worked on them, and they made the adjustments, and they came through just fine. But the biggest thing I think we all need to remember is colt starting is a progression, and it just progresses, and we saw that today.
I'm going to go back to Terry because I want to ask him a question that's could come off a little bit rude. I don't want it to sound rude. But you've been starting colts longer than any of the rest of us on this panel. How do the colts differ today in bloodline / disposition from what we would have seen historically, and even maybe what we would have seen 7 years ago when this started?
Well, I was kind of around when the Indians attacked, so you know how long I've been here. And basically started out in the 70s. And the guy I worked for would go out and buy a trailer load of colts out of Montana or somewhere and bring them back. We had to have those colts riding in like 2 months because they were going to a sale barn. And they were just completely different colts. They had different attitudes, the whole shooting match. And like today's horses, a lot of times you crawl on them and they're broke when you crawl on them. I mean, I've talked to reiners and stuff, and a friend of mine in Michigan was saying, you know, he says, I've won like $150,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but he said the colts he said I had to make them stop. He said I had to make them turn. He says, I got a doctor and a guy that won the lottery, and he said we went out to Babcock's and we gave $80,000 for one and $90,000 for the other colt. He said I started riding them and they just put their butt in the ground and stopped. He said I'd ask them to turn, they just turn around. And the colts today have so much more natural ability and their minds are so much better that I think it's a big difference.
I agree. I would tell you that colts in the backyard of America today used to be really good colts down in Texas 15, 20 years ago. Like, you know, we used to talk about, man, I'd like to get that quality of colt, and you couldn't. You had to go to Southwest to get them, and now they're everywhere. And it's leaked down. We used to have, you know, this horse is a grandson of depth charge or something with a bunch of thoroughbred that's going to drop you on your head if you make a mistake. And now we have horses that are own sons or grandsons of horses that just want to please. They just want to go out there and try so hard.
It's like like with the pleasure horse breeds. These pleasure horses, they don't want to go fast. And they got a leg that sticks out there, and they just go slow. I mean, you watch some of these babies, they just kind of motion along, and it's gotten to a point where there's different breeds. The quarter horse is almost like 5 or 6 different breeds right now. And I remember when Bill Horn was reigning, I mean, back in that time, I asked Ruben here yesterday or day before, I forget which one, if he knew, you know, who Bill Horn was. He said, who? And I mean,
We'll take him out back in skinny.
yeah, I mean, you know, Bill Horn was the first $1 million rider with $300 and $400 purses.
So, have we
Ken,
got a minute or are we ready
I want
to
to
go?
interrupt you. I want to interrupt you for just a second. Let's bring Norman in, all right?
Norman, come on
Norman
in
Yoder
here.
brought these
Well, we're-
horses in here. And
We're bringing Norman in here.
yeah, he's sold 2 of the 6, I think, so far. But let's
All right, so you've sold 2 of the 6. Who have you sold?
The gray horse that Ridge was riding, and then the Bay Roan that no one picked. Yeah, the one you kind of liked.
All right. If you bought that Bay Roan filly back there, that is a nice filly. Whoever bought her, you're gonna really like her. So he sold the gray horse of Ridge, the Bay Roan horse, and the gray horse is going home with Ridge. Ridge doesn't own him, but he's gonna be riding him. Family owns him. Well, we got half of northwest Arkansas here, or northeast Arkansas here, so the other half sitting at home feeding the chickens. But anyways, so tell us from your viewpoint, you watch the colts. Tell us your overall view of Horseman's mission for 2025.
You know, there's a ton of things that I can take away from this to add to what I do, but I think it's such a great event to bring in young people that, you know, put them in front of the mic and put them in front of the people to let them shine a little bit, let them find their groove, and, you know, see where they go down the road. But it's just thanks to Ray and everybody puts this on, so a really good event to watch. And I take away, no matter how good or poor or whatever the trainer is or isn't, there's points. Every one of these trainers did something that I'll use at home.
And if you don't know, Norman's got a bunch of these colts at home. Like, there's 15 or 20 of each age bracket standing at home waiting to go to work. So when he says, I'm going to take this home, he's not joking. That's what he does for a living, is raise these colts, feed them up right, and then get them started, get them going good, and sell them. So when he says there's something to learn, and I think that's a really crucial point. There's just, when you meet that person that says, I know it all, stand back because they're going to get hurt, right? We never have it all. That's for darn sure. So as we roll in, are we getting close to having responses and we're ready to go? All right, well, let's get our contestants out here.
Just real quick, Ray, thank you for the opportunity with the challenge horses and all these, to giving me the opportunity to show what we breed and raise and stuff. So thank you guys.
Yeah, and one final thing, those horses, if you're interested, it's a private treaty with Norman, all right? So if you're interested in those horses, you're welcome to come back here, take a look at them. The bloodlines are really impressive. He brought them in. They are not in the sale tomorrow, all right? Just remember that. They're not in the sale tomorrow. So again, if you want to do that, so Ken asked for our contestants to come in.
Yep, let's get our contestants in here.